And there we go. Okay, welcome everyone. Tonight we are doing a Pushing Lovely Google Plus Hangout on, we're calling it Pinterest 201 because we have another Pinterest Hangout that we did a few months ago where we talked about building your community and some of the basics of Pinterest. So tonight we're going to give some tips on how to continue to be successful through your Pinterest account. I'm going to head it. I'm Amir Martin from ForHatsandFrugal.com, and we'll get started. So tonight, here are the sections or the titles that we are going to be talking about, if you'd like to write them down in your notes. We're going to talk about the importance of group boards, and we'll delve into that, how to successfully use a group board. We'll talk about what I like to call repeat business, which is how and when to repin a pin. We're also going to talk about the use of third parties. We will talk about how to get mobile, so some of the best ways to use the mobile app to increase your followers on Pinterest and also to continue to give them quality content. We are going to talk about how to syndicate for success. And at the end, we'll give a few sites that you probably should remember that will help you build up your Pinterest community and use it successfully. Okay, so first off, we're going to get into the importance of group boards. I know in Pushing Lovely we have our own group board, which is great, and you should be pinning to that all the time and repinning things all the time. But group boards seem to be the new the new thing that really pushes your traffic from Pinterest. The reason behind that is usually in a group board you're on a niche or you're with niche bloggers, so bloggers who also blog about the things that you blog about. If they have followers who follow them due to their niche, those followers will in turn want to click and repin and click through your pins that you put on those group boards, which increases your traffic. Obviously, the more people you have on a group board, the more people who will see your pin when you pin it. But also, you have to remember that if you're in a group board where there are a lot of people, you should be repinning quite a bit to that board. If you can do daily, that would be great because that board sees so many pins during a day. And you want to make sure you're getting fresh eyes on your pin as much as possible for successful repins. If you have a smaller group, you can pin a little less, but you also have to remember that when you repin, you want to change it up a little bit, just so that way they aren't seeing the exact same pins every time. One key tip when you're in a group board that may be a little bit smaller is to pin directly from your site, rather than repin an old pin or repin the pin that you put up, a couple days ago. What this does is it gives Pinterest kind of an alert that there's a fresh pin out there, and they're more likely to promote that pin in that niche than they are a repin of the pin. And it also helps, I know a lot of us have the little buttons at the bottom of our posts where it shows you how many times that's been pinned. Sometimes it doesn't actually count repins, depending on what plugin you use. So by pinning directly from your site, that boosts your amount of pins for that post. So keep that in mind for smaller groups, that you want to actually do a fresh pin on that group board. Let's see. Next, I have how to properly use a group board. This I think, is a loaded subject right now. Most group boards, you don't know the other people that are in the board, which, can be okay, but for the most part, it could be detrimental to you because you don't know what else they're pinning, if it's something you feel comfortable with your readers seeing, because since you're part of the board, that means your readers and your followers will see what they're pinning. If it's something that you don't like, you can't really delete that. It's on the group board. It's there. One tip that I got from my co-speaker when we spoke at SOFAP conference is to have group boards, but make sure that you have a Facebook group dedicated to that group board as well. Now, This works in a lot of ways. First off, you know the people that you're inviting to the Facebook group and to the group board. You know what they're about. You know what they blog about. You're comfortable with the topics that they discuss. So in turn, you'll be comfortable with what they pin. Also, this gives everyone a chance to maybe do a theme day. So one day you all decide that you want to do all chocolate desserts or something in the group board. So everybody pins their best chocolate dessert for that day, and the followers of that board will see, oh my gosh, well, this must be chocolate day, and let me pin this and this and this and this, and they'll pin a lot more because there's a theme involved. But you're able to pick that theme ahead of time because you're discussing it with each other in the Facebook group. Also, by having a Facebook group, you can decide if a board isn't doing well, if you all want to maybe start a new board, abandon the old board. You can all decide that collectively without the owner of the board just automatically deleting it and not telling anyone else. So that's one good way if you want to really delve into Pinterest, is to create a Facebook group first, and then from there you have a special group board, you know, and then you can build from there. Okay, so topic number 2. Repeat business. How and when to repin a pin. A lot of us kind of, you know, if you have a schedule, you'll set a schedule to repin some of your most popular posts, or those posts that you really feel passionate about but they didn't do so well on Pinterest, or even they didn't do so well traffic-wise, so you kind of want to build traffic to those. Those are things that you want to repin. Those are things that you want to also schedule 3-6 months in advance that you're going to repin. You can use your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you may have, maybe put in a list in Evernote, whatever you feel comfortable doing. You want to make sure that you're not abandoning your old posts and your old pins. You want to think of your posts like your kids. You know, you don't abandon a kid, you still have to take care of it. So if you decide, hey, you know what, this is going to be relevant again in 6 months, or next year I know this is going to be relevant, so I'm going to make sure I start to repin it again in 9 months, which is 3 months out from, you know, if it's a holiday or if it's a special topic that only comes up once a year. You'll start it 3 months before that topic or that day comes up, and you're recycling your content in that way, but you already scheduled this way out. So that's a great way to remember to repin something. You also want to repin it if you just feel like it fell flat on Pinterest. If you pinned it on a weird time, you didn't pick prime time, which is, you know, between 8 and 11 usually p.m. at night, and it didn't work out for you. But you know it's a good quality pin, you know the image is great, so that's when you want to repin it. So I would say if you can give it 3 to 5 days to see how well it does. If you find that you're not getting any pins or you got just the minimal amount of pins, repin it again. Give it a second chance. You also want to repin if you decide to rework the description. The title, the description, and the board that it's linked to, all 3 of those need to coincide with each other when it comes to your keyword or your key phrase. We talked about this on Sunday when we had our impromptu Pinterest. But when you're setting up your description and your title, you want to make sure that the keyword or the key phrase that you used in your blog post is coinciding with the description of your pin. This helps you with Google searches, because pins and like your Pinterest boards are searchable on Google. Keywords and key phrases are very important. We all know they're important in SEO. They're also important on Pinterest. So you want to make sure everything coincides with each other. So if you go back to a pin and you see that it's doing really well, but you don't like the way the description was, and you're like, I don't like the way I worded that. Let me amp it up some. So you're going to go in your description, you're going to amp it up, you're going to make sure your keyword or key phrase is in there. That's when you want to repin right away, because you've made a change. As soon as you make that change, Pinterest will know that you made a change, and Google will know that you made a change. So you want to repin it then, or pin it again from your website. You also want to repin when you add a new pinnable image. For obvious reasons. You know, you're proud of your new image. You want to get it up there, and it helps people see it in a new light. I know a lot of bloggers do this. They go back to old content, or even, you know, content from 2 or 3 months ago, because they got a new camera and they think, well, you know what, I could do a better picture than that. So they put up a new picture. One thing to remember is, if you have an old picture that you hate and you do put up a new picture, you can delete the old picture from the post. It's okay to do that. That will not break the link of anybody that pinned or repinned it before, because that link is still there. It'll still take them back to the actual blog post. So it's okay to delete the old picture if you want to. If you still don't feel comfortable deleting the old picture, move it to the way bottom of the post. Like, seriously, the bottom, after all of your content, put it down there if you just don't feel comfortable letting it go yet. But you can delete it. That's totally fine. It will not mess you up. It will not mess up anybody coming to your site as well. Okay. Let's see. The next topic is the use of third parties. Oh, by the way, if you guys have any questions about anything that I'm saying, put them right in the chat. If you see the chat, put them there, and then I'm gonna go back at like 9:40, 9:45, and we'll go through all of the questions there, and then you can just ask a question then if you want to as well. So that's what we'll do. So if I'm going through something and you kind of want me to elaborate on it, put it there, and then we'll come back to it then. Okay, the next section is the use of third parties. Now, this is my favorite section because I get to talk about Ahology, which I'm in love with. That's my new boo. So the use of third parties is something that a lot of people are using now to kind of take the weight off of Pinterest. You can spend an hour on Pinterest easily. We all know that. Or you can schedule your time to spend on Pinterest, which is also kind of another nuisance, because if you have a million other things to do, even if it is just 10 minutes on Pinterest, you feel obligated, which isn't what you want. Pinterest is a place where you want to be a little bit more personal. You want to be able to pin on a whim, or you want to be able to think of a blog post that you really want to get out right then and there, and then pin it when you feel like it. So these third parties are very helpful to you, so that way you have a long-term investment into Pinterest without putting in a lot of time. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Ahology. So Ahology is well, first off, it's a website. It's actually an app, and now they have the mobile version, which is, thank God. But Ahology, please spell it. Yes, it is Ahalogy. So ahology.com. I'll put it in a little so you guys can see that. Now, the best part about Ahology is that they not only work with bloggers, but they work with brands. They're able to connect the two together. They do offer like paid opportunities, which is something I haven't delved into yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. So basically, brands look and they find that they really love a pin that you use that may have included their product, and they may want to use it, and they will pay you handsomely for that. That Ahology connects the brands and bloggers together in that aspect. But what I love to use Ahology for is the scheduling. Their scheduling is beyond. I love to use them because they not only have a set schedule where you can decide, you know, if you want to schedule a pin at a certain time, like you find that your followers on Pinterest love when you pin at 3:35. Anything you pin at 3:35 gets 20 pins automatically. So you can set it for every single day to have one of your pins go to your account at 3:35. Or what Ahology does is they have an automated time. So let's say you want to do a theme. I usually do a theme like Fashion Friday. On Friday, I do a lot of fashion. So I will go through the content on Ahology, which are other bloggers that you may know, you may not know, but they have quality content. Nahology puts them in there because of their quality content. And I can pick 10 pins that relate to fashion. Within those pins, I can sprinkle in my own pins. And Ahology will know, well, you know what? This pin really did well at this time. So we're going to suggest to you that you pin it at this time. And you don't even have to set a time. They'll set a whole day of just pins for you. And you sit and do it maybe 10 minutes you're on there, and you have a whole day set for you. You can do this every day. You can do this where you sit maybe for 30 minutes and plan your whole week of pinning, and you don't have to be on Pinterest if you don't want to. They give you that option. Also, on Ahology, their analytics compared to Pinterest analytics are top-notch. They can give you up-to-the-day analytics, while Pinterest gives you maybe, I think they're about 2 or 3 days behind on their analytics, and they're a little bit, I don't want to say barbaric, maybe a little bit behind the times. Ahology is constantly updating their site and their app. So their analytics are always on point, top-notch, and they're able to show you directly what pins are doing well for you, what pins need to be repinned. They have a section that shows you exactly what pin, like it says it's time to repin or something like that. And you can go and click that, and it'll show you what pins of yours are due for another repin. You don't even have to figure it out for yourself. They do all of that for you, and it's free. So I love it. So if you're not signed up for Ahology, sign up. I know they're slowly incorporating more and more bloggers. They like to check you out first and see how your Pinterest page is, you know, what you blog about, and then, you know, you're included into the website. They also have a Facebook group, which is very important. If something ever happens where you're confused about how to use it, or it crashes for you, which hardly ever happens, or you just have a general question about Pinterest, in the Facebook group you have a lot of bloggers who know a lot about Pinterest, and you also have the Ahology team. They are there for you 24/7. So you can use that Facebook group to ask any questions you may have at any time. And I like to lurk in there a lot, because there are a lot of questions that get answered just by me reading what was said in the past 2 hours. So that's very good that they offer that to you. Now, a second third party would be Viral Tag. And Viral Tag is very, very similar to Ahology, but it is paid. And with that paid subscription, you get someone to actually take care of the pins for you. So if you still feel like you don't have the time to do all of that yourself, Viral Tag offers that to you by doing it for you. So they are connected to your Pinterest account. They pick out what pins are great for you. They tell you, you know, this pin's not doing so well. You know, maybe you should update your picture. That's what Viral Tag does. But it is paid. I mean, it's obviously, for obvious reasons, it's paid. They put in a little bit more work for you, so you don't have to do a lot of it. Yep, viraltag.com, Pamela. Yep, that's them. Now, the third one is another free one, and we all know it, and it's Google+. I love to use Google+. I think a lot of people who are very heavy on Pinterest now understand how that marriage really works. Google+ works as your third party when you put up either your pin of the day, or you're using a hashtag that you don't want to use in a pin, but you want to get the word out about a certain pin that you're very proud of. You use Google+ for that. This also works well because that means that pin is going to come up in a search more likely than if you didn't put it in Google+. So Google+ is definitely free advertisement for your content that you are most proud of. Yeah, I think most of us know how to do it, but one great way is to make your status update for Google+, you know, announcing a post that you really love, or, you know, for an example, just my son and I went to so-and-so this summer, and it was one of the greatest things ever. But while we were there, we learned 10 new things that you don't know about so-and-so amusement park. And that's something you want to promote. So you put that in your description on Google+. You want to at the company, which also helps your pen to boost because that company may pin your pen. You want to give a link to the pin, and you also want to give a link to the post. Now, as you can see, that's a multi-layer of free advertisement. You are connecting to that brand. You're putting direct links not only to the post but to the pin, but you are also putting in keywords and key phrases in that description. So if somebody searches that amusement park, your update will come up closer to the top than maybe a regular review on the blog. So that's a lot of free advertisement just right there with using a third party. So definitely use Google+. If you're not using it already, I know a lot of people are still hesitant to start using Google+, but it really, really does help when it comes to traffic. Okay, get mobile. So now we're going to talk about the Pinterest app, the lovely Pinterest app. If you are still dipping your toe into the Pinterest waters, I think that you should give the Pinterest app a little bit more love. Now, the best way to do this is 3 ways. There's 3 ways that I recommend you do it. First off, you want to have a board. You should always have a board dedicated to your blog post. And you should pin every time you have a blog post, pin that blog post to that board. You should also have a secret board. Now, in that secret board, this may be posts that you really feel very passionate about. You want to repin them as much as you can. You put those on your secret board. If it's a post by someone else that you really want to get a lot of traffic to, put that on your secret board. And thirdly, you want to make sure that you give yourself a time limit. So only bring up the app if you're standing in line at the grocery store, or if you are in the bus line waiting for your kids to get out of school, or you're at the doctor's office and they tell you you're going to go in 15 minutes. That's when you want to use it. You don't want to be on there forever. It's going to drain your battery first off, and then you're going to get frustrated. Now, when you use the app, this is why those 3 things are really cool. You can go to your post, your board about just your posts. You can see what you've pinned recently, or you can scroll all the way down and see what you haven't pinned in a long time. You want to repin that while you're waiting. You decide if you want to do a theme that day, or you just want to get that pin out and repin it. Or if you're seeing that people that you follow on Pinterest are pinning about strawberries that day, and you remember you have a great post about strawberries when you went strawberry picking, or you have a recipe or something, you can go to your board about your post and go, hey, you know what, I'm going to pin that right now because there's a lot of people pinning about strawberries. So you can pin that, and then you can also repin all these pins that you're seeing about strawberries, which gives your readers more content to pin and repin, and they're more likely to repin your pin. When it comes to the secret board, you want to use that board for pins that are very important to you, or pins that have been really popular, and you know when you pin it again, it's going to get repinned. Go through that board. Pin some things from your friends that you really loved, or something, if you're in a Facebook group and they say, hey, I really would like a little bit more traffic on this, can you help me out with a tweet, a pin, or something? That's where you put that pin, and you just do those. Do 5 or 6 of those. Just bang them out really quick. On your, what was the other one that I said? Now I lost track of what I said. So I said the secret board, your post board, and your time limit. When it comes to your time limit, don't ever go over 15 minutes. The reason behind this is obviously you don't want to get lost in Pinterest, but when we spend more than 10 or 15 minutes on Pinterest, we bombard our followers with too many pins from ourselves. And then, you do get the risk of them just unfollowing you because they're like, she's crazy, I don't want to keep going with that. But in between that 10 and 15 minute time frame, for some reason, it just seems like you give them just enough material that they can digest it, they can decide which pins they want to pin, etc. So make sure you pay attention to that time limit. Don't go over it. Don't sit and continue on Pinterest. Use the app. kind of like a time filler. So make sure you set yourself a time limit, even if you have to, do a stopwatch on your phone to have it go off in 10 minutes. Set that time limit. The time limit is key. Really, people seem to get a lot out of having a time limit for that. Okay, so that was the mobile, Pinterest mobile. Okay, now we're going to talk about setting a schedule. We did talk about how to, schedule your pens on Ahology, which is great. But if, let's say you don't want to really take on something new, like Ahology or anything like that, there is a way to schedule your pens that will help you. There are set times that are good for penning. So we like to say that around 10 a.m. or so is when you would want to pen things that you want other bloggers to pen. Around 2 or 3 o'clock is another great time. Between 2 and 4 p.m. These are Eastern. Actually, these are your time, your local time. So between 2 and 4 o'clock is a good time for penning. A lot of people like to repen then as well. And at night between 8 and 11 o'clock. It used to be between 8 and 10, but more people are staying up, especially now in the summer. Summer is a good time to pen between 8 and 11, sometimes even 8 to 12, depending on the day, because people are still up. So you want to pick your scheduled times to pen during those times. The best way to do this, I think, is Google Calendar. I love Google anything pretty much. So Google Calendar works well because you can set a time. You can say, all right, remind me at 10 a.m. to pen about inspirational quotes. So you set it in your Google Calendar, 10 a.m. inspirational quotes Pinterest. Then at that time, you log in, you pen for 10 minutes, and you're done. You can do that 3 times a day. You can do that just at night. You can do that just on the weekends. It's up to you. The key is to schedule them in your calendar and have it remind you. You can schedule it all night and day, and if it doesn't remind you, you don't remember. This is a very easy way to kind of get people to see that you're present on Pinterest, that you will be pinning great content on a regular basis, and if they don't follow you already, they will follow you. So this will be a great way to get them, and it brings you closer. It brings you up higher in the search. A lot of people are now really actually using that search bar on the top left on Pinterest. People weren't using it before. Now they're using it a lot more, and Pinterest actually updated the search features there. So they can not only search for chocolate dessert, but they can search for chocolate dessert in a cup, or chocolate dessert with Nutella, or chocolate dessert with white chocolate. So if you have that in your description, in either your board or your pen, you're going to come up higher in that search. And by continuing to put up content, every day or every other day, that brings you higher up in the search. So the key is to schedule, and make sure it reminds you. Another great way to kind of build up your followership and to schedule great pens is to set a theme day. We all know the hashtags. We have Meal Plan Monday and Fashion Friday. So on those days, you want to actually schedule time to pen relevant pens about that. And not just your pens. Obviously, you want to pen other things that are of interest to you and maybe of interest to your followers. The good part about that is you can pen, let's say you want to do Meatless Monday or Meal Plan Monday. You can use the hashtag and you can syndicate through Twitter or syndicate through Facebook with the hashtag. So that way you're covering, quite a few bases there, and you're doing the theme for the day. So you may get people coming back to your Pinterest account through that by just you picking a theme day. Now, I would say your themes should obviously coincide with what you talk about on your blog. If you don't have to do a theme every day, if you only have three main topics that you talk about on your blog, or 2 main topics, you can alternate each day. Just do one topic one day, one topic the next day, then do another topic Wednesday, and then that topic again on Thursday. That would work too. But you do want to give yourself a theme, because when people see a theme of pins, sorry, they're more likely to repin it, especially if they have a relevant board. They'll pin more of them. They may pin 4 or 5 if you put up 10. So themes are very, very, very important. Okay, what are we doing in time? 9:36. Okay, so syndication. Good segue. We just talked about syndication. So how to syndicate for success. So one great tip that I have been using that I love that Pinterest added is sending direct pins to other pinners. Now there is if you look on Pinterest and you click on one of your pins, you'll see that there's kind of like a paper airplane and it says send. If you click that, you can see that you can type in names of other pinners that where you're either following each other or you follow them, and you can send them that pin directly, and it'll pop up in that little red box on the right, and they'll see, Amir from Four Hats of Frugal has sent you this pin. Now, the way that I have been using that is if I see a blogger that I know or a pinner on at that certain moment and they are pinning like crazy, funky jewelry, and I know I have a picture from a post from forever ago where I have a piece of funky jewelry on, I can send them that pin directly right then and there while I see them pinning like crazy to that board. And they may or may not, they don't have to, but most likely they're going to pin it and they're going to put it in that board. So if their followers see that, that's in that big group that they just put up, they're more likely to pin your pin because that pinner just pinned it. I think I've done it a lot for recipes. I've seen like bloggers on, and I guess they're filling up either they're filling up a new board or they just had a hankering to fill up a certain board, and I go, hey, I have a post about that, or hey, I have a pin with a picture of, the beach. Let me send that, and maybe they'll be interested. And pretty much 9 out of 10 times, I've had that pinner pin it, and it's done very well. So using that direct, pinning directly to other pinners or other bloggers is a new way to kind of syndicate your pins. Obviously, I just said using the hashtags and then clicking that little box where it says, send to Twitter, send to Facebook. That's another good way to syndicate. It helps you cover bases. It helps people see that you actually have a Pinterest account and that you have a board dedicated to so-and-so, and they're more likely to either follow the board or follow all of your boards. So you want to start using that as much as you can remember to use it. You don't want to, go overboard filling up Twitter with your Pinterest links. But I would say you can do it whenever you pin. If you're pinning 3 times a day, you have a set time 3 times a day, send 1 pin each time. And then you'll get new eyes on not only that pin, but your Pinterest account. You also want to embed boards and pins in your posts. I think this is something that we started to do in Pushing Lovely. A lot of people started to do it, and some of us fell off of it because the embedding is a little bit weird for Pinterest, because if you go into it, you kind of break the embedding and you have to do it all over again. But it really does help, especially if you're talking about a certain topic. Like I think on Sunday, Nicole had mentioned that she doesn't cook, but she loves to pin food all the time. She has about 10 boards just dedicated to different types of food, appetizers, desserts, etc. So I gave her the idea of doing a blog post where she talks about how she doesn't cook. Like she doesn't like to cook, she doesn't want to cook, but she loves to see beautiful food on Pinterest. In that blog post, she can embed 3 of her favorite boards, and people can follow her directly in that blog post. They don't even have to go to her Pinterest account. They can click follow 3 times right then and there and follow those boards if they're also interested in whatever she's talking about. That's a very easy way to increase your followers on Pinterest, and also get people who are interested in things that you're also interested in. The more invested they become in you and your account, the more they will repin anything that you put up, whether it's your pins or somebody else's pin. And that's your key to Pinterest. You want to get their trust. Pinterest is very personal. It's very community-based. So you want to always think about, how am I going to be helping people who are looking for something specific on Pinterest? That's a great way to do it, is by embedding either a pin or embedding your full board into a blog post, if it's about a certain topic. You also want to add popular pins to your newsletters. I know a lot of us are finally starting to do our newsletters. I know I'm one of them. I hesitated forever because it's yet another thing. But having a link to your pin, or if you like to do something a little bit more visual in your newsletter, I like to use a lot of pictures in mine. Put the actual pinnable picture in the newsletter, and then put the link right underneath and say, pin this now, or something similar to that, just like you would do on a Google Plus update. You can do that in your newsletter. A lot of people may be only following you in one aspect. They may only be subscribed to your newsletter, and they may not be that interested at the moment in following you on Pinterest. But if you show them a beautiful picture and you give them the direct link, you make it very easy for them to at least pin it. And if they pin it and they see relatable pins underneath, they may want to pin those. And then they see, okay, well, you know what? She really is legit. So I think I'm just going to follow everything. And they maybe become one of your followers on Pinterest, as well as somebody who is subscribed to your newsletter. So it's a great way to syndicate that a lot of people don't think about. If you're proud of a pin, share it on your personal Facebook account. We have our Facebook pages, which, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But we all know that we have friends and family members and, colleagues that really love when we update, or really love anything that we may share on Facebook. Share your pins. Share a pin that you're very proud of. Tell them, hey guys, I'm so proud of this pin. It's doing so well on Pinterest. Please check it out, and if you love it too, pin it for me. They will do it because they trust you. They know that you're trustworthy, and they love to see you succeed, so why wouldn't they just click a pin? So don't forget to use your personal Facebook. We have to start doing that a lot more as well anyway, because that's what we're getting a lot of. I know a lot of us are getting a good amount of interaction on our actual personal pages. So why not use that for Pinterest as well? Okay, and lastly, oh good, it's 9:44, perfect timing. So here are a few websites that let me put them in the chat too as I'm talking. These are a few just random websites that I think will help you in the long run for everything we just actually talked about. So one great website is idpinthat.com. I put that in the chat. Now on idpinthat.com is a site where they have pictures, pinnable pictures that you can use for your blog posts. The key to these is that they've already gone through the trouble of seeing if they're copywritten. And these are ones that you are free to use. You don't have to worry about linking to anyone, crediting anyone. These are the pictures that you are free to use. So you search whatever your topic is on that blog post. They will give you images that relate to what your topic is. You can use those for your post, and also you can edit them right there on the site, just like PicMonkey. You can put your text in, you can put your borders in. Everything is right there on that site, and it's free. So I've been using that if there's ever a time where I don't have a picture for something, but I really want something really spectacular for a post, I go to iPinThat. So it's a very, very good resource, especially for those who, you may not blog about food or whatever, but you want to make sure that you have an image on every blog post. Use iPinThat. The next one is Canva, which I love. Canva is like PicMonkey, but it feels a little bit more professional to me. To me, it does. It's kind of on the upper echelon. You have to put in a little bit of work to learn it. I think actually Val was told to do a hangout on that, so I think she'll be covering that one. But Canva is legit. I love Canva. It I love PicMonkey, but Canva just feels like when you're ready to really amp it up a little bit more, you would use Canva. So it's very similar to PicMonkey, but it's just a little bit more of a professional look and feel. So if you want to step up your game, try out Canva and see if you'll like that. I'm sure Val will really get into it during her hangout, and we'll learn a little bit more about that. The next website is PenGroupie. Oh wait, let me put Canva in there. Canva.com. And now the next website is PenGroupie. Now, we talked about group boards at the beginning of the chat. PenGroupie has a full list of group boards that are available to view on Pinterest. One caveat is that they do show you who the owner is, but if you don't really know the owner, it's kind of a little bit hard to become part of that group board. But if you're looking to add a little bit more relevant material for you to pin, so you're looking for more things to follow, more boards to follow, use PenGroupie in that aspect. If you write about inspiration or you write about business, type in business and see if there's a group board on Pinterest for business. Follow that board. See if there's relevant content that you can pin for your readers. From that, they'll see you pinning, and usually the creator of the board, they may email you or ask you to join that board if that's something you would like to join. But for the most part, this helps you find more content that's relevant to your niche. So that's how I use PenGroupie. I've followed a few boards now that are relevant, and I'm finding that I'm getting a lot better or more quality content to pin for my followers, and they're repinning it. And lastly is actually a podcast. It's called That's So Pinteresting. I listen to this podcast all the time. It has amazing content about Pinterest, about how to use Pinterest for business, how to use Pinterest when you're a blogger, companies that are either third-party companies for Pinterest. That's actually how I found out about I'dPinThat.com, is by listening to the That's So Pinteresting podcast. They also have a website. They sometimes hop onto the Pin Chat on Twitter. It's hashtag Pin Chat. I think they do it. They used to do it every Wednesday. I don't know if they still do it every Wednesday. But that's also a good place to go for more information. But That's So Pinteresting podcast is great for if you're in the car a lot. That's a great way to learn new and interesting ways to use Pinterest, especially if you want to boost your business. I know we didn't talk about affiliates and using affiliates in Pinterest, but that's that could be a half an hour, and I kind of want to show you how to do it, so we may have to do yet another hangout on that. But yes, you can use your affiliate links on Pinterest to make some money. So we will have to do that where I can actually show you, because it's kind of one of those hands-on things. So let me type that in. I'm volunteering myself to share that. Affiliates on Pinterest. Okay. So, well, we are at the end, and we have about 10 minutes or so for any questions. If you can get specific if you want to your situation, or you can ask a general question. So let me know. And even if you have a quick question about affiliate links or anything like that, I can answer that as well. You would love that hangout, sure? Of course you would. Of course. I will do it, even if it's just one where we don't record it and I share my screen. We'll do an affiliate hangout.
Okay, that sounds great. I would love to. This was fantastic. I was actually in another group or in who.
We lost her. She'll be back. Okay. Let me scroll up. No questions in here, right? No, I think Pamela just asked me to spell it. Did that. Okay. Irene says, thanks, Amira. I loved your hangout. Got to put my Tyler, but yes, go do that. You gave me some great ideas for my business blog. Okay, no problem. If you have any questions, just ask in the group or send me a message later.
I will. Thanks. Okay.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Anybody else? Any other ladies? Oh, Mandy's back. Hi, Mandy.
Amira, you are the Pinterest boss.
Hi, I'm so sad.
Why are you so sad? When did we lose you?
I missed everything.
Oh no, that's okay. That's all right. I'm gonna get these slides together because we were supposed to have slides, but you know how Google Plus is. They didn't like my slides, so it kept kicking me off before we started. But everything will be in there. You didn't miss anything really, and this is recorded, so you get to see it later if you want to watch when you're on your business hours.
Okay, cool. I was like, my boss gave me extra time to.
I know. Yes, he did. Isn't he so nice? But that's okay. We recorded it, so everything is ready to go for you whenever you get the chance to look at it. So, ladies, does anybody have any questions? Anything before I hit stop broadcast? Or once I stop broadcast, if you have anything personal you want to ask, you can ask it then. No? Okay. All right, then I'm going to stop broadcast.